Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Thursday, September 14. Cabinet has approved a proposal to demonetize and withdraw the 1 cent, 10 cent and 25 cent coins from circulation. Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid made the announcement during yesterday's post-cabinet press briefing.
The proposal and approval comes against the background of an assessment showing that the use of the lower three denominations have been decreasing since 2005. Details of a cost efficiency assessment also showed that the manufacturing costs consistently exceeded the face value of the coins.
This change is subject to the Bank of Jamaica's timeline for implementation. At that point, the coin denominations that will remain in circulation will be the $1, $5, $10 and $20 coins. Government will soon be establishing a ticketing system for persons found in possession of 2 ounces of marijuana or less.
And the reason for that is that the Chief Justice will tell you the courts were overburdened with hundreds of persons who were caught with a spliff, coming to court to plead guilty and paying $100. What is being done is that persons found with less than 2 ounces will be ticketed.
The Justice Minister says the tickets to implement the system will be available shortly. In the meantime, he is again warning persons that the decriminalization of possession of small quantities of ganja is not a free pass for recreational use.
Let me emphasize that the possession and use of marijuana can only be dealt with legitimately for medical purposes, for sacramental purposes by Rastafarians, and for scientific research. Any other use or possession is quite illegal.
The minister was speaking at this week's launch of the National Council on Drug Abuse's public education campaign on ganja dubbed Talk the Truth. Meanwhile, the Justice Ministry is looking to significantly expand the number of drug treatment courts in the island from the current 5.
The demand because of substance abuse is so great that the Chief Justice has requested that we increase them to all parishes.
While addressing the Talk the Truth public education launch, Minister Chuck argued that incarceration and punishment was not the right response to persons who engage in substance abuse. But he says establishing more drug treatment courts will require the availability of more psychiatrists and psychologists.
Very shortly, we are hoping that the Ministry of Health will give us support, especially to provide psychiatrists and psychologists. So very soon, we hope that we will have all parishes being able to have a drug treatment court at least once per month, depending on the availability of psychologists and psychiatrists.
The Kingston corporate area housing stock is getting a $2 billion boost. Ground was broken on Tuesday for 128 housing units in the Lots Apartments development on Arthur Wint Drive. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, has welcomed the investment by West Indies Home Contractors Limited.
When partnerships such as these are undertaken, there is a ripple effect on our economy and on our environment as hundreds of jobs are created directly for our skilled laborers and indirectly for other sectors.
The development will feature 2 6-story apartment blocks with 84 studio apartments and 44 2-bedroom apartments in a gated community with 24-hour security.
It is an expression of WICON's and ICD's faith and confidence in the Jamaican economy.
Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley is insisting that the price increases announced by Petrojam last week are consistent with petroleum price movements in the U.S. Gulf Coast region. In response to concerns raised in the public, Dr. Wheatley says the commodity prices are generally influenced by supply and demand and in some cases exchange rate fluctuations. These, he says, can create significant changes in price over short periods due to natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and geopolitical events such as wars or social upheavals. The minister says the most recent situation involving Hurricane Harvey is a clear demonstration of how natural disasters can affect the price of fuel. This incident, he says, resulted in the production loss of approximately 4 million barrels per day in the U.S. Gulf Coast, which represents approximately 20% of the entire U.S. refining capacity. Minister Wheatley says further that the principle of import parity pricing versus the cost-plus method of pricing has been established and agreed over the years by both political administrations. He says the pricing mechanism has also been universally accepted by all international agencies, including the International Monetary Fund. And finally, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, will be partnering with the Urban Development Corporation to clean up a number of beaches this weekend. The two agencies will be leading teams of volunteers in cleaning debris from Half Moon Bay in Helsha, the Portland Bight Protected Area, and locations in Negril. It's among hundreds of activities planned across the island for Saturday in observance of International Coastal Cleanup Day. Jamaica's overall observance is being coordinated by the Jamaica Environment Trust. NEPA's Public Relations Officer, Delene Powell, says the cleanup day is to highlight the issue of improper disposal of solid waste and to indicate that marine litter is a serious problem around the world and in Jamaica.
A very big part of International Coastal Cleanup Day is not just removing garbage, but also about collecting the information related to the types of garbage. Solid waste is a very real problem, and it's a problem that is not going away. We can't ignore it. In addition to it being garbage being unsightly along our beaches, it poses a threat to marine life. So birds, fish, those kinds of things will actually end up ingesting plastic bags, styrofoam, those different kinds of things.
Persons wishing to participate in this year's International Coastal Cleanup Day activities can register on JET's website at jamentrust.org. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.